Real relationships, real conversations. This is who we are. This is Couples Connect. Real relationships, real conversations. This is who we are. This is Couples Connect.
Hey guys, welcome to Couples Connect. We are so excited about this week's episode.
Yes, we are. This is a good one.
Listen, my name is Tisha.
My name is Akita.
And we are Couples Connect, where we help couples grow, build, and navigate the ups and downs of marriage.
Yeah, because we know that marriage is work, but it's definitely worth it.
So we got a good episode for you today.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about being too busy for each other.
Oof.
Oh my God.
Yes. How many times does that happen?
Listen, all the time,
all
every
the
day.
time.
We live in a world, a society where it's even glamorized to be busy.
Yes.
It's glamorized to be hustling, to be grinding, to be going, to be just doing your thing all of the time.
Yeah.
I think we often sometimes feel guilty when we have these down moments, or we don't even know what rest looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are definitely in this hustle culture where you know, team no sleep, team, work hard and just like be inundated with all of these things. We forget to enjoy life. We forget to enjoy, and part of that life is life with your spouse. We forget that, those moments. You know?
To slow down.
Yeah.
Like slowing down is important.
Yeah.
And so I think about this new thing going around called the soft life.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Do tell.
Okay, so my understanding of the soft life is that it's like where you do less, but you receive more. So like being in that space of like passive income, like you're relaxing a lot, like you're vacationing, you're enjoying your family, but you've set your life up in a way where you're still able to produce income, but it's different from the grind mentality.
What it sounds like to me is like work smarter, not harder.
Definitely.
Type of thing. And I can definitely get with that. Because I mean, from a man's perspective, I know that, sometimes we can get into this, you should be working till you die and, don't, make all these sacrifices and we don't get to enjoy certain things or be in the moment. Just work, 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 work. And I am ready to move from that
into
that persona into, I maybe call it something else. I don't know. I know about calling something the soft life. Ain't nothing soft over here.
The rest life. The rest life.
But definitely working smarter and not. I think hard work is good, but not to the point where it consumes your life.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to have a balance of rest. You have to have a balance of mental health. You have to have a balance of living in the moment, engaging with your family. All of those things are important, not just the work part. Yeah,
it is. When I think about myself, my type A personality, which really feels like there is something we always have to be doing, or there's work that should always be done, like work first, play later. But what I find is that there's always work to do.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes difficult for me to transition into the play because I'm just like, okay, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to get this done. And then having, you guys know, we have a family of 5 kids, and now we got some grandbabies, right?
Yeah.
That there is just always something that you have to do. And if you don't carve out the time to be with your spouse, he or she will just be something else on the list.
Yeah. I mean, we carve out time for everything else. Like we put work, we know that we're supposed to be at work from 9 to 5 or whatever the hours are. We know that we're supposed to have this Zoom meeting at this time, or this, that, or the other. We need to incorporate that in our moments of rest, in our moments of spending time with our spouse. We need to put those schedules in, because if you don't, something else is going to take that slot.
Right.
And then you won't get around to spending that time that you need with your spouse.
I mean, how many times have you had to or been caught up with life and you haven't made time for your spouse?
Yeah.
I mean, we have the kids, we have work.
Yep.
We have church.
Yeah.
We have so many things that are calling our attention and wanting us to be present.
You have friends, you have family members, you have, neighbors, you have bill collectors, you have everybody biting for your attention. You have to be intentional about who you give that energy and that attention to.
Yeah.
Because you'll be spread thin. You'll show up to your wife or your husband and won't have anything left to give.
I was just about to say. So you
boom, beat you to it. No, we on the same page.
I was just about to say, when I get that way, I'm very stressed.
Yep.
Right? And so like I'm stressed, I'm tense, I'm more rigid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I'm honed in and focused, and I'm just like, I don't know, probably not the greatest.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll let you say.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean,
we're
all human. We're all human. If you've already, exerted your energy into a space that has left you like drained, you are going to be more irritable. You are going to be more aggravated, tired, and all of those things. But I just think that, and we could talk about this later on. But I think there needs to be a shifting in the mind, where the priority becomes the spouse, becomes the family, so that you don't give your best to these other things. Mm-hmm. You give your best to each other.
Yeah. Well, that was deep.
Was it? Well,
give your best to each other.
Yes.
Well, it's true.
Your best to each other. Yeah.
And I think we do the opposite.
Yeah.
We give our best to everything else and everybody else.
Yep.
Right? We place like work is definitely on the top priority because that is where we get our income from.
Right.
So we give our best there. But how many times have y'all like heard people say or been watching movies and stuff and they're like, oh man, I dedicated all this time to work and the kids are upset with them. They're getting a divorce. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because it's I don't know. I guess it's our culture. And you know what I want to say? I think might be like a U.S. thing. Because not every country, like, you know what I'm saying, does that, or like places that that value on like working.
I agree. We are definitely, if not the country that is very like hustle culture. Yeah. And whatever it takes to get there. You know what I mean? Whoever you got to step on, whoever you got to step over, to get to become successful.
You were right when you said it was mindset. It's definitely has to do with mindset.
Yep.
And we're going to dive deeper into the topic of being too busy. And we're also going to give you guys some tips and suggestions on how to slow down, how to be more intentional, things that you can do to reverse that right after this commercial break.
And welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again on this episode. So we have been talking about how busyness can rob your relationship and your marriage of certain things. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about how being tired causes us to show up in our relationships because
that tiredness, boy, could get you.
Listen, being busy, it produces fatigue. Fatigue for real. Like, I'm out here drinking strawberry refreshers.
I say you drinking? What's good?
Listen, I was trying to think in my head, like, do I want to big up Starbucks? But I guess everybody knows. But drinking my Starbucks drink, popping my B12 pills, just trying to keep the energy, right?
Going,
and not be tired. And so what happens when I get tired is I definitely get cranky. I definitely get irritable. But I have a lot of, I crave more alone time. And I was thinking about this the other day because I'm an only child. That's where I get my, refreshing from. Like, when I'm alone, that's when I, refresh, rejuvenate. That's, where all my, I don't know, where I, go. What is it called, when you go and you,
hibernation?
R up. What is it? Is it R up?
I never heard of that before.
You know what I'm talking about? Where you know how you see the superheroes and then they go and get their extra power?
Recharge?
Yes. That is the word.
Is that R up?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. Something new to me.
I
don't know.
I don't know. But that's where I go to recharge. And so what will happen is if I'm busy, then, and I'm tired, then I want the same amount of time that I've spent doing all those things. I want that time by myself.
Yeah.
To also recharge. And that can cause a problem because there's only but so many hours in a day.
There is.
You know, I mean, in our relationship.
Right.
And how I'm like.
But you need those moments to recharge and to get back into that space where you can be like interacting with other people. Present. You know, not trying to choke and strangle people.
Right.
I mean, I would say, you know, I definitely I like being around people, but I do get refreshed also by being alone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And because when I'm tired, I'm like in that space where I don't feel like talking to nobody. I don't feel like having no conversation. Like, oh, tell me what's on your mind. I don't feel like it right now. Like, it's not the right time.
I'm watching my Ratchet TV at this moment.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk.
She loves her Ratchet TV to unwind.
It just takes my mind off of everything else that's going on. So, yeah. And I'm about to say.
I watch my superhero movies. I love my superhero movies.
And yo, TikTok.
And I'm on TikTok. So TikTok, send us that check. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I mean, I love to be, you know, by myself, not being bothered, and just really have that time to just, you know, unwind and like decompress. I think what it is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just need a moment to not do nothing, not think about nothing, and just decompress.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And so the reason why I bring that up is because we don't always get that. So we don't always get that time to decompress. We don't always get that time to recharge, especially if you're not being intentional. Mm-hmm. So now you have the busyness of everything going on, everybody pulling you in different directions, you expending all of that energy, you're not really recharging, and then you're supposed to show up in this relationship?
Yeah. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And I would even say too, for the other spouses looking for the attention, to be aware when your spouse needs that time to decompress. You know what I mean? We can get into spaces where like, I want you to show me attention and I want it, you know, right now. Mm-hmm. Regardless of where you're at mentally, emotionally, I want you to be here present right now. But even if that person were to show up and be in that moment right then, they couldn't show up fully. You know what I mean?
They're just going through the motions.
They're just going through the motions, and they're not giving you the fullness that they can give you. You know, wouldn't you rather have them recharge, refresh, so they can come back and be on top of their game, you know, when they're talking with you or spending time with you?
Because in my case, I'm going to go through the motions very crankily. Mm-hmm. Which is going to cause a whole nother issue. Yes.
Yep. I've definitely experienced that. I think we both experienced what it's like when we're both tired and depleted. But it's a group effort. You know, it's up to me to know when I need that time, to know how to communicate when I need that time, and it's up to you to be sensitive to when I may need some time by myself and not really, you know, pulling what I have left out, you know what I mean, and allowing me that time to refresh.
So I'm sure you guys have different ways that you show up when you are exhausted, when you're tired, when you just feel run all over everywhere. And so we challenge you to kind of think about that. Think about the way that how you show up in your fatigue and in your overwhelm, how that impacts your marriage.
Yeah.
But we're going to also talk a little bit about ways to stop the cycle of being so busy.
Yes. Some key points for y'all to kind of think about and hopefully, you know, implement, and hopefully it will help you out.
So listen, pull out your phone,
take your notes.
If you're a writer, a journaler.
Journalist.
Yes.
No, not journalist.
Writer.
Journaler.
If you want to get a piece of pad and paper, write it down. We're just going to give you a couple of ways that you can stop the cycle. Mm-hmm. So the first way is get away. Get away from the children. If you are married and you have kids, you need to be able to take a break from the children. And I know that you're not always able to get a getaway. You're not always able to, have money to go on a trip or something like that. But I'm also talking about slowing down the need to have your children doing everything that you need to be present for. Yeah. And so I feel like I need to be a little bit more clear. So we have 5 kids, right? I tell you, at one point, people were in like soccer, volleyball, basketball, wrestling, all at the same time, working, doing all these different things. And we're like the carpool queens, right? Queens and kings.
I'm about to say, I'm not in that.
taking everybody everywhere, right? All of the time. And I remember I was challenged one time. I was questioned. Somebody posed a question to me. Why do I feel like the kids need to be doing something all of the time? Like, I felt like you got to be in dance. You got to be doing something. Like, if you weren't involved in some type of extracurricular activity, then you weren't being productive, or I wasn't being a good mom, or I wasn't being a good parent. And that's just not the case. It's not true. And I think sometimes we fool ourselves to think that we have to be in everything, or they have to be in everything, especially simultaneously.
Yeah, I mean, because it it pulls you in a lot of different places, and then you have work on top of that.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I didn't even say that.
So I mean, you're not even counting the 9 to 5 that most of us have. You got to be sensitive to you have to show yourself love. You know what I mean? You got to be attentive to yourself as well as you being attentive to your kids and everybody else. Because if you're not able to show up fully, then what good are you going to be for other people?
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean? So I think that's true. I think sometimes, kids can have breaks, in between seasons and things like that, and utilize that time to go away. Even if you take a few hours.
I mean, go to the park.
You drop the kids off
Go for
at
a walk.
grandma's or aunties or
Yes.
whomever. Just, hey, can y'all just watch them for a couple of hours and go to the park?
I used to go to the mall just to get some pretzels and walk around by myself, right? Like, you just need to be able to have that space.
Yeah.
To be able to pace yourself where you don't have to feel like you have to be doing something.
Yeah. And it's more than just the moments when you come home from work and you sit in the car for an hour before you go inside.
I know plenty of women who have sat in the
I
car.
know plenty of dudes who,
Really?
sit in the car because
have you sat in the car?
we have both sat in the car.
I'm talking about individually.
Yeah. I've sat in the car, like, just to kind of decompress. I've seen you through the window sitting in the car.
Listen,
So.
I am not good if I don't get some me time.
Yeah.
Like, I do not function well like that.
And don't get me wrong, those definitely take those moments if you need to, but it needs to be a step further. You need to go and get out. You need to see nature. You need to get some sunlight. You know what I mean? And just like move your body and really just connect yourself with, I don't know, with like nature, with God, and all of those different things to center yourself, you know?
Right. So another tip, another way to break the cycle is utilizing the power of saying no.
Yes.
Okay?
So important.
You do not have to be at every event. You do not have to be doing everything. You do not have to commit to help everybody that asks you for help.
No is an answer.
Yes. Boundaries.
No isn't. It's a full sentence. No and stop. Period. Stop.
And it's challenging
Yeah.
because I think we want to be helpful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we feel like in our nature we should be doing something. Or, I mean, I do have this gap of time. Am I being a bad person by not giving it to whoever is asking? But that gap of time, somebody said, oh, what did he say? Somebody said, you put it on your schedule, me time, and then when somebody asks you have an appointment, you say, yes, I have an appointment with me and time, or something like that. He made it a name. I can't remember, but he was like, you're not lying, and you're not telling them.
Right.
You straight have an appointment.
Absolutely.
They don't have to know who is with you.
I was about to say, you don't even gotta tell them who the appointment is with. You could just say no. You could just say no. But for those
That's
who do
harder.
need something, say, I have an appointment, I have another obligation, I already agreed to something else. So many different things that you can say to, give yourself that time, you know what I mean, that you need.
Right, because we know that there are things that you have to do.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and those things you can't
Responsibilities
neglect.
and things like that. Yep.
But, you have to find spaces in the things that maybe you like to do or you want to do or you think you should do out of obligation and set that boundary.
Yeah.
Because that's another space there.
Yep.
Because
I mean,
in charge.
I'll tell you, you ask somebody else, they'd be ready to say no with the quickness. They'll be ready to say no with the quickness. So, you got to make sure that and it's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to make sure that you give yourself the attention that you need, and to take that time. So
what's our next our next tip?
So we talked about the power of saying no.
Mm-hmm.
The next tip is asking for help or hiring help or having an extra pair of hands
Come on,
to
Jesus.
help you with
He will
what
do
you
it.
need to do. So it's good to there's a lot of different professions out there who do cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
who do maid service, who
Cooking.
We just had we had a personal chef come to the house. That was our first time having it, but it was like it changed our mindset.
Okay.
It changed our mindset. Like, we could do this, you know.
Listen. Get those little meal prep kits.
Yeah.
That are already put together. We've done that a couple of times.
Right.
And that's been extremely helpful. There's nothing wrong with getting help.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with getting help. I remember the first time we had hired a cleaning service to come to the house. Oh, It was so weird. It was so weird. But the very first time was when we were selling the house and we had to get it cleaned. And I was like feeling like I should be helping them. Why am I sitting here while they are cleaning the house? It was such a weird feeling.
Yeah.
It wasn't until probably like the third time that we had hired somebody that I really was like, wow, this person is here to assist, right?
Yeah.
And so in this time, I can rest, I can decompress, we can do things together or whatever.
Yep.
And just, we got to be open to asking for help or hiring help.
Yeah. And, some people, because, financially, some people may be able to do it more often than others. But think of it like as an investment.
I was just about to say
You know what I mean? It's an investment in yourself, even if it's once a quarter or, you know what I mean? Once every year or whatever the case may be that works for you. It's an investment in yourself.
Yeah, definitely. So another...
This is my favorite one.
Suggestion that we strongly suggest is listen, put a lock on your door. Okay? Like a padlock, like the ones that you put the numbers in.
Could put a code in.
Yes.
Yep.
And the door only opens with a code that only you two have.
Yeah. Thank us later.
Come on.
Thank us later.
He will do it. He will do it.
Let me tell you, no more surprise entrances into your bedroom.
Yes.
It creates a space for intimacy without being disrupted or interrupted, anything like that. What other things and other benefits?
You know what? I just want to take a minute and thank the couple that told us about this.
Yeah.
We were like, it was a friend of ours. We were at their house and they were showing us their house, and there was this like padlock, this lock on their door.
Lock on the door? Like, who does that?
She was like, girl,
right?
We locked these. I got too many. She had a lot of kids too. We got too many kids to be playing these games.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
I think we ordered.
We ordered it, and I think one night we was in the bedroom, spending time with each other, and somebody tried to just bust in, couldn't get in. We were like,
listen.
Oh, that's what they mean.
This is what. So, I mean, I don't know how everybody feels about it, but we definitely consider it to be a blessing. And so, and another investment. That's that helps you get time to break away.
Yeah.
Right? From all the chaos, all the stuff that is going on. And so, take us up on that one.
Yeah, that's game changer. Game changer.
So what's the last suggestion that we have?
So this is probably, I know it's the last one, but it's probably the most important, which is communicating your needs. Definitely have to be transparent and open about what you currently need from your spouse. How they can show up for you, how they can help you. If you need that time alone, or if you're feeling a certain way and you need, this type of support or whatever the case may be, communicate it to your spouse.
And I think on the flip side of that is what you mentioned before, is the spouse has to be accepting of that, right? And I think you guys want to work together to help each other be able to find that space. Like to find that space and to find that time. And then even in that, finding time for each other, right? I think recognizing that the person will show up better for you. Should be the motivation, as opposed to just a whole lot of things going on. And a lot of the stuff that we talked about, like the kids being in all these activities and the power of saying no to different events. It's really something that you guys can do together. Like it doesn't, I know some couples that be like, oh, well, you know, my husband, he not feeling it. Because they don't want to say no. So they're trying to like put it on the other spouse, you know, to do it. But y'all work together. Do what it is that you have to do so that you can slow down. Because at the end of the day, life is short. Right? Life is short. And you can find yourself having done all of these things that no one remembers. I mean, I barely remember some of the stuff 3 or 4 days after I've done it.
Right.
And then your time has gone by.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, we missed this moment, or we missed this, or we missed this opportunity. And so I think it's not just for couples or relationships, but I think it's just a way to live.
Yeah, you really have to take that time to decompress, to, you know, see life, you know, experience life. We got so many things that are biting for our time and our attention and our energy and those types of things, and they're not they're not like respecting of it. You know what I mean? Life is not respecting of, like, it doesn't care about if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're stressed out. It doesn't care if you're emotionally drained. It's going to do what it does. It's going to do what it does anyway, you know, regardless. So you have to be proactive, and you have to be intentional about where you are and what you need. And
God rested on the seventh day. How do we think that we're going to be able to function and not get rest, right? Not spend the time rejuvenating, recharging, resting. Like, we were not created to just be going.
That's right.
As much as we like to think that we are.
Yeah.
Like, my body will do a whole shutdown. Like, my back will be like, no. You need to slow down.
Yeah.
You'll get like headaches or whatnot. So it's like our body tells us things and we try to ignore it. We try to do all of these things and be all of these super people. But rest is an important factor in that. And so that's, you know, are we too busy for each other? Was the question.
I think we are changing things. I think at one point we were like busy running like hamsters on a wheel, but we're definitely, this year, we're definitely changing some things around, taking those moments to spend time with each other, to decompress, to, you know, realize when we need those things. Sometimes we don't even know that that's what we need.
Right.
You know, we just know that we're becoming more frustrated or more stressed out. But being more aware of when we need those moments. Because, I mean, like you said, life is short, and I want to be able to enjoy my time with my wife. You know, she's my partner. She's my best friend. And who else would I want to experience this thing called life other than her? Right?
Yep.
I get brownie points for that.
He gets brownie points. So we want to encourage you guys to do the same.
Yeah.
Right? To slow down. Don't find yourself in a place where you're too busy for each other.
Right.
Right? Where you're giving and giving and giving, and you're not even giving to your mate, your partner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So before actually, we're going to go to this commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to do an exercise.
Yes.
Which is a fun way to, I wouldn't say force yourself, but create a space where you kind of have to slow down and be intentional with each other.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, but we're going to go to this commercial break and we'll come right back. Welcome back, y'all. So I hope you enjoyed just our little segment where we talked about busyness and how that can sometimes get in the way of our relationships and life in general.
I know. And so you guys, they're probably wondering, like, where did we go? Why?
So
how are we out here?
We did a quick little trick there and changed the background. This is real. It's not a screensaver.
This is our backyard.
So we're just inviting you into our home a little bit. And we wanted to kind of talk about some ways that you can slow down the busyness, you know, and kind of create those moments of reflection and, you know, intimate times with your spouse.
We were talking about like how you have to be so intentional. And listen, it's a Tuesday night. I don't necessarily feel like going for walks. I don't necessarily feel like, but it's important.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After working all day, I think like unwinding is so important.
Yep. Yeah. Unwinding is very important because your mind is still running. Like even after you clocked out, your mind is still thinking about other things. So you have to force yourself to slow down. What we did was we went out for a walk just in the neighborhood and kind of took to some of the sites, and we saw a nice lake.
Yes.
That was by the house. I've never been there before. And
I had to tell him, I'm like, it's around the corner, dude.
And I've never been there, but it was so cool to see, and we just kind of stood out there and just looked at the scenery, which was breathtaking to me.
I like nature. I always when we had the other house and we were out, like we had the porch, I used to always be sitting outside on the porch and looking at that cherry blossom tree that we had in the front, because it just really lends to, just for me, like a reminder of how much bigger life is than just what is happening in my particular space.
In your little cubicle.
Right.
of whatever you do.
Yeah. And so I think that helps too, to be able to, like you said, decompress. And then talk, takes your mind off of the everyday. And I think, the other thing I was going to say is I think we can get super comfortable with the everyday. For both of us, we work inside of our house.
Yeah.
So you could get so used to, we could have really just went in the room and just turned on Netflix or something.
Right.
And just gotten used to just being in the house.
Yeah.
And so I think when we take this opportunity to come outside in the backyard and unwind and relax, it is shifting our normal activity.
Yeah. And those conversations out in nature, for some reason, are different.
They're better.
Yeah, they're so much more deep and thought-provoking.
Have you ever got mad at me outside?
I don't think so,
I
no.
know. It's something with the sunset coming down.
Yeah. And studies show that with being outside in the sun and everything, that actually helps your mood. It helps, with anxiety, depression,
slowing
stress.
down.
A lot of great benefits, and plus you're getting the vitamins from the sunlight. But it was great to take some time. We haven't even been for a walk in such a long time.
Right.
Which is definitely needed. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And at nighttime, we got the lights out here that go around the patio area, and so especially when it's warm out, the lights out.
Or you catch us outside.
Candles with some tea or some juice or something.
Yep.
A funny story. You want to tell them how we recognize? So we are from the inner city, I guess, the tri-state
area,
and now we're more in a country space. But how we realized that we had become country.
Yeah. As soon as I noticed we were she was on the rocker and I was on the lean back chair,
and
we had
patio.
We had a bag of pork rinds. It's we're officially country now.
Looking at the landscape, just sitting back, rocking.
Yeah.
And so those are fun moments, fun times.
Yeah. But I love those moments because I get to detach myself from all of the other craziness that's going on. Even if it's just for a couple of minutes, it does me really, really good, And in fact, I get to do it with you.
Yeah, that glistening sun on your green eyes.
Oh, I think you're talking about you and your just glistening.
Making my hair look real red right now. But I agree. It is definitely one to be intentional and take that time to really, really slow down. Yeah. Right? That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yep. Really about slowing down and spending some quality time with your boo.
Yes.
Yes. But would you do it again?
Of course. Tomorrow. Same time.
Look, she said it, so we're going to have to do it now. But listen, I hope this is helpful and you all can find out what you want to do, whether if it's a long walk or a short one. Or if you want to go to a park somewhere, a trail.
Oh my gosh, there are such nice trails. Yeah, just refreshing. We've been to the lake, and you don't even have to do it by yourself. We've done it with the kids.
Yeah.
With a kid right now.
Yeah, it's a good family trip too.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, take the dog.
You get some exercise. You get your steps in.
Yeah.
And it's free. How about
Come on
that?
now.
It is free, $99.
And you can do it all the time.
Yep.
All the time.
Yep.
So we hope that this episode has been helpful with you being able to, slow down a little bit. We can't be too busy for each other. Life will throw so many things at us.
Yes.
Right.
And make sure when y'all do spend that quality time or go on your walks, put down your phone, put it on Do Not Disturb and just have some good conversation. Look at the scenery, enjoy life together.
Mm-hmm. It's only what, like 15, 20 minutes out the day, but it's such an investment.
Yeah, I agree.
And the relationship, that is the most important.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you guys again for joining us here at Couples Connect. Of course, we're going to see you again next week, right?
Same time, same channel.
Remember to stay together.
And stay connected.
Hey Couples Connect fam, thank you for tuning into this episode. But guess what? The conversation continues. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for our live Q&A as we go deeper.
And we would love to be a guest at your conference, or if you're interested in being a feature or possibly having a commercial slot on the Couples Connect show, y'all just email us at couplesconnect2020@gmail.com or scan the QR code.
So we will see you in the next episode, and remember, stay connected
and stay together.